The first thing most people learn about orcas is their size, their striking black and white pattern, and the way they move through water with effortless power. They are often introduced as killer whales, a name that sounds dramatic but incomplete. What usually comes later, if it comes at all, is a quieter realization that no other non-human predator on Earth displays such a consistent ability to understand, manipulate, and prolong the fear of its prey. Orcas do not simply hunt. They coordinate. They calculate. They observe reactions. And in many cases, they continue interacting long after survival alone would demand that the hunt be over. This is not a moral judgment. Words like cruelty and sadism belong to human psychology, shaped by intention and ethical frameworks. Biology does not deal easily in such terms, but biology does record patterns. And when researchers observe the same behaviors repeated across generations, behaviors that create distress, without clear nutritional benefit, that are taught socially, refined over time, and performed even when food is abundant, those patterns demand explanation. Orcas live in every ocean on Earth. They inhabit polar seas layered with ice, temperate coastlines, and warm tropical waters. Despite this global presence, there is no single orca identity. Different populations behave so differently that many scientists now consider them ecotypes, and some argue they are already on the path toward becoming separate species. Resident orcas live in stable family groups and feed primarily on fish. Transient orcas hunt marine mammals and travel in smaller, quieter groups. Offshore orcas roam widely and specialize in sharks. These groups rarely interact. They do not share hunting techniques. They do not share dialects. Most importantly, they do not share behaviors. This diversity reveals something essential. Orca behavior is not hardwired. It is learned. Culture in animals is rare. It requires long memory, teaching, and social stability. Orcas possess all three. Their calves remain with their mothers for years. Grandmothers play central roles in pods. Knowledge is passed down not genetically, but socially. This means that behavior can persist even if it is not strictly necessary for survival. And culture changes motivation. Along the coast of Patagonia, researchers documented one of the most dangerous hunting techniques ever observed in the wild. Orcas deliberately beach themselves to capture seal pups resting near shore. A single mistake can be fatal. A stranded orca cannot breathe properly on land. Yet these whales perform the maneuver repeatedly. They do not rush it. Adults slide partially onto the beach without taking prey. They retreat. They repeat. Mothers guide calves, positioning themselves between the young whale and open water, demonstrating angles and timing. Sometimes, after capturing a seal, the orca releases it back into the surf. From a survival standpoint, this makes no sense. Once prey is secured, releasing it introduces risk. The seal could escape. The orca could misjudge the return to water. But the behavior persists. The hunt stretches out. Capture becomes a sequence rather than an endpoint. For the seal, there is no learning benefit. There is only repeated panic. The explanation most often offered is play. Orcas are intelligent. Intelligent animals play, but play has limits. It fades when energy is scarce. It diminishes in adulthood. Orcas continue these behaviors throughout their lives, and the movements closely resemble real hunting techniques. The line between play, practice, and predation dissolves. In Antarctica, another example unfolds on the ice. Seals rest on floating ice sheets, believing themselves safe from underwater predators. Orcas approach in formation. They align their bodies, synchronize their movements, and generate a controlled wave that washes over the ice floe. If the seal falls in, the hunt begins. If it does not, the whales circle back and repeat the maneuver, sometimes once, sometimes many times. What happens after the seal enters the water is rarely shown in documentaries. The kill is not always immediate. Seals are passed between whales, submerged and released, flipped into the air, then allowed to swim briefly before being seized again. Some are killed quickly. Others are not eaten at all. From an energetic perspective, this is wasteful. From a behavioral perspective, it is deliberate. Sharks reveal a different form of control. Offshore orcas specialize in hunting large sharks, including great whites. They know exactly how to disable them. By flipping a shark upside down, they induce tonic immobility, a neurological state where the shark becomes paralyzed. The orcas then bite open the body cavity and remove the liver, leaving the rest of the animal to sink. The liver is rich in oils and calories, but the method is not always efficient. Orcas sometimes hold the immobilized shark for extended periods before killing it. The shark, a predator shaped by hundreds of millions of years of evolution, becomes entirely helpless. The effects extend beyond the individual. In areas where orcas begin hunting sharks, sharks disappear. Tagged great whites have been recorded abandoning entire coastlines for months after a single encounter. Fear reshapes ecosystems. Fear becomes a weapon. Orcas also harm animals they do not eat. Sea otters are thrown into the air. Birds are knocked from the sky and ignored. Rays are flipped and pinned. In encounters with larger whales, orcas frequently target calves or sensitive areas, inflicting stress rather than delivering a fatal blow. One gray whale calf was attacked off the coast of California for hours. The orca separated it from its mother, rammed it, bit its fins, and drowned it repeatedly, allowing it to surface only long enough to breathe before pulling it under again. When the calf finally died, the orcas left the body untouched. Observers struggled to describe what they witnessed. The language of predation felt insufficient. The behavior was structured, prolonged, and unnecessary. To understand how this is possible, scientists turn to the orca brain. It is not simply large. It is complex. Orcas possess a highly developed limbic system associated with emotion and memory, along with a deeply folded neocortex. They are capable of long-term planning, social awareness, and emotional depth. They recognize individuals. They remember encounters for decades. They respond differently to familiar and unfamiliar beings, and they teach. Teaching is rare in the animal kingdom. Orcas do it routinely. Hunting strategies are passed down through generations. Vocal dialects are unique to pods and never copied. Calves learn not just what to hunt, but how to hunt, when to hold back, and when to escalate. This means behaviors evolve culturally. If a pod discovers that prolonged interaction with prey strengthens coordination, excites group members, or reinforces social bonds, that behavior can persist. Despite their power and cognitive complexity, wild orcas have never been confirmed to kill a human. This absence is striking. They encounter people regularly. They approach boats. They inspect divers. They follow ships. And yet they stop. This suggests discrimination, control, choice. Captivity tells a different story. In marine parks confined to concrete tanks, orcas have attacked trainers, sometimes fatally. These incidents are often framed as anomalies, but the pattern is consistent. Deprived of space, stimulation, and social structure, orcas exhibit aggression, depression, and psychological breakdowns. Intelligence does not disappear in confinement. It turns inward. This contrast reveals something fundamental. Orca behavior is flexible. It responds to environment and mental engagement. Intelligence amplifies whatever conditions surround it. In the wild, orcas have no natural predators. They occupy the absolute top of the marine food web. Nothing hunts them. Nothing forces efficiency. Over evolutionary time, this freedom may have allowed experimentation. Hunting becomes less about survival and more about mastery. Mastery changes motivation. Most predators cannot afford to play with prey. Injury means death. Orcas hunt in groups, share food, and can afford failure. When survival pressure fades, curiosity fills the space. Curiosity without consequence can resemble cruelty. From an evolutionary perspective, prolonged hunts may strengthen social bonds. Shared challenges synchronize movement and attention. Young orcas learn more when events unfold slowly. The prey becomes a living lesson. Suffering becomes functional. In recent years, this pattern appeared in a new context. Beginning around 2020, orcas near the Iberian Peninsula began attacking boats, targeting rudders. Dozens of vessels were disabled. No food was taken. No people were harmed. Often, the whales lingered afterward, interacting with the damaged craft. Researchers believe a single triggering event may have spread socially. The behavior mirrors hunting traditions. It also mirrors non-utilitarian interaction control without consumption. The ocean is not a moral system. Orcas are not villains. They are expressions of intelligence unrestrained by consequence. Their behavior forces an uncomfortable realization. Intelligence alone does not guarantee empathy. It multiplies possibility. Orcas mourn their dead. Mothers carry deceased calves for days. Pods protect injured members. They share food. They cooperate with extraordinary precision. And they also prolong harm, because culture amplifies everything intelligence touches. As scientists continue to study orca societies, their dialects, traditions, and regional differences, it becomes increasingly clear that what we observe may only be the surface. Orcas are not just apex predators. They are social minds shaping their own behavioral ecosystems. When such a mind experiments, learns, and teaches across generations, the outcomes can inspire awe or discomfort. The ocean has always held predators with teeth and venom. Orcas represent something rarer, a predator shaped by memory, culture, and choice. And that leaves a lingering question. If intelligence without constraint can drift toward cruelty, what does that say not just about orcas, but about intelligence itself? That question does not end here. It moves silently through the water alongside the pods, waiting for the next observation to surface.